Hi, and welcome to the Hidden Pages Podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa, and in this episode of the Hidden Pages, we're talking about the quarter life crisis. And that's because your girl is there. And so, for all those people that are walking around thinking, like, what the heck did I do with my life? This is not what I want to be doing. I feel you. But we're going to talk about what it is. We're going to talk about why you feel this way. We're going to talk about how to start clearing out a path for you to figure out who you really are and to remind you that it's not too late because you just need permission to explore even at this age. And at the end, we're also going to give you some actionable steps that you can take to start figuring out who the heck you really are. Let's start with what a quarter life crisis is. It's almost like this point in your life where you figure out you don't know who you really are or what you really like, and you've made decisions based off of other people or expectations or whatever it is, or trauma-based decisions or anything like that. And then now that you've either shed that stuff or that something has shed light on the fact that you're not living a true life, you are having a crisis because you're having to reinvent yourself or figure out how to really get in touch with who you really are, right? And so it looks like this clash of who you want to be and who you really are, and they're not connecting. People would have midlife crises. Like that was a big thing back in the day. It was almost this thing of like your kids had grown up and now you're an empty nester and now you're like have all this time and you don't know why you did what you did or what you didn't do something, and like you start finding yourself. That was a thing. Well, now there's a lot of people having quarter life crises. And I've seen it just around myself. I have a lot of friends and it's happening around their 30s that, people are either thinking like they didn't want kids and now they do, and now they're having this crisis of like, my biological clock, or people that decided, "Oh, this is what I'm gonna do with my life," in their 20s, and now in their 30s, they're like, "What the fuck am I doing? Like, I don't even wanna be doing this," or "I don't really like this," or "Why the heck am I in this job that I hate?" or "Why haven't I tried this that I loved back in the day?" So, that's kinda what a quarter life crisis looks like, and technically speaking, it's almost like a meltdown. So now we're gonna describe why you feel this way. So main reasons why is most people think in their 20s they have to figure it out. You gotta figure out what you wanna do. You gotta figure out who you are, and like, you stick it out all the way to the finish line, which is death. And like that's it, right? Well, not true, because I feel like your 20s, and I've heard this a couple times from some people I listen to their podcasts about personal growth and stuff like that. And it's your 20s are actually more about exploring and having that period of play and try and let's see, do I like this? Do I like that? That way you have all the data that you need in your 30s to make a reasonable decision on where you want your life to go. But we were taught, at least as a millennial, we were taught that like you had to get into college, figure out what you really wanted to do in college and stick it out, go get a job, and then stick it out to have a really great life in your 30s. Well, we get to our 30s and we're like, where's my really good life? Now college degrees aren't really paying enough for you to live a really good life anyways. They got all these young kids self-taught, like making millions of dollars everywhere, and you're just like, what the hell did I do wrong? And then you realize you actually made that decision based off of either external pressures, external expectations, your trauma made you make a decision based out of fear, or you stuck something out in your 20s, but now you're 30 and your mentality has changed completely. So that's not really identifying with you anymore. That is why you feel this way. Society pressured you, shame, fear, all of these things reframe the way we would normally take a decision based off internally what you really feel, and create this reality around you that you think you're going to make work to the rest of your life. And then you realize, wait, this is not making me happy. And now I got to stick it out because I'm in my 30s and it's too late to start over. Or I'm in my 30s and now like I'm running out of time to like change my mind. That is like a major reason why you feel this way. And there's a lot of pressure in that. There's a lot of sadness in that. There's a lot of people who didn't really explore in their 20s. So like now they're finding themselves not only trying to figure out who they really are, but like having to explore sounds like it's going to take so long for you to figure out what do you really want to do. All this resumed into one simple thing. The version of you that made the decisions on who you should be was not fully informed or didn't have all the information they needed to make the decision. And that's just not, I don't want you to consider this a failure or like you were let down by whoever pressured you or whatever. It's more of an evolution. We're always evolving. You have to look at life as like something that's going to continue to evolve, or every time you get to a changing point, you're going to feel like you're having a crisis. So, first of all, accept it as a normal part of growth. And second of all, understand that these evolutions are going to happen over and over again in your life so that it doesn't feel like a crisis every time these changes come along. So, how do I start clearing the path for the new version of you, right? For my personal experience, that healing is a major first part of that. Why? Because if you were making decisions based off of fears or traumas or, I don't know, external pressures, or maybe people or society, whatever it is that was pressuring you, well, therapy will help you, one, shed those layers, two, learn how to set boundaries with those like big expectations or the people pressuring or anything like that. And three, shed that fear that is causing you to not take the opportunity to explore something new. That's very important if you want to really get to the core of who you are, is to shed those things. And I feel I'm obviously someone who very much encourages people to go to therapy, but like whether it's therapy or meditation or just like journaling until you figure out what things were pressuring to do, or journaling to like figure out what really truly brings you joy and stuff like that, whatever it is, healing is like the first step to this. And I know this sounds like very long term, but you'd be surprised how much quicker you're going to get to know who you are if you heal first than if you try to figure it out with all these added layers. So while you're clearing this path to start figuring out who you are and everything through healing, I wanted to give you this one question to like meditate on or talk with your therapist about or anything. And it's, if you weren't afraid to fail anyone and you didn't have any expectations or didn't have any fear to fail, what would you do with your life? And that thought can, you know, help you kind of start getting direction of like, wow, what are the things in the way? Is it fears? Is it expectations? Is it failing someone specifically, right? And it also gives you direction of like, if I was free of those, where would I go, right? So the next part of this journey of figuring out who we truly are would be giving permission to yourself to explore. Is it too late? Is it not too late? It's like the first thing that comes to my mind for a lot of these things. And personally, I'm on my own journey of like exploration right now. I'm on this step. So I'm not at the end yet, but I can tell you this step was very, very grueling and felt like very much like I was mourning like the time lost and I felt like it was too late, or I still feel sometimes because it's not fully gone. But I do feel sometimes that's too late. I'm wasting my time. It's gonna take so long to get to finally be in a place where I know who I am and what I want to do. And so want to give you like a verbal permission or like a verbal like encouragement to explore. Don't like leave anything out. Um don't feel like shame can keep you from things or fear should keep you from things, because those are the things that keep us from fully exploring who we really are. So I want to challenge you to start trying to explore freely. Now, don't, because I'm the person all in, all out, right? So, like, don't go into something and be like, I'm fully gonna go all in and see if this takes me somewhere. Because sometimes we can do that with too many things and then get sidetracked. Or you can go all in on something that you were just exploring to see if you even like, and you can stick to something just because you put so much energy into it, even though it's not part of what you should be doing. So one of those thoughts that might really creep up a lot during this exploration period is it too late to start over? Am I too late? I'm so behind, from so many people that I already know who they are, right? And this is not true because everyone's timeline is different, and I think I've had a really hard time, like, grasping this, but everyone's timeline is different, and regardless of what it is, or who is ahead or behind or whatever it is, you're never too late to a party, let's say it that way. You're never too late to a party that you were the only invited person, so it's your own timeline. If you're the star of the show and no one is actually waiting for you there, and there's no one at this party but yourself invited to it, then you're never too late whenever you decide to show up. Like no one's gonna notice if you were late or not because the only person you should be worried about for this party is yourself. So whatever the timeline is, it's your timeline. And don't worry about what that might look like compared to someone else because comparison will steal you joy, one. But two, it's everyone has a different life. Everyone went through different things. Everyone has different perspectives on certain things. And like your evolution, just like everything else that has evolved, is different and it goes at a different pace than everybody else. So quit comparing yourself. It's never too late. You're not too late to the party that you're the only one invited to. How do I find myself again? Is a big question, right? So these are some of the actionable steps I'm taking to figure it out. But like, this could look different for you, but these have worked for me. So reflect and joy. So biggest thing I think I've done is start questioning what made me happy before, or what did I love as a kid, or what gave me energy when I, see things, or what do I watch on YouTube that like I love and it makes me excited or makes me want to create something, Those things have something to say about what brings you joy. And following that joy around in like your, childhood or whatever it is will give you a glimpse into your true self. And I think that's always a good thing. So in my own personal story, I've been dabbling in art and like I used to think because I wasn't someone who drew realistically, I just didn't have a skill, I just didn't know what I was doing, and then it just became this thing of, like, I'm not really good at it, so why should I do it? I don't think I should, but my whole childhood and throughout my whole life, art was something that I always went back to that always brought me joy. Now my perfectionism would come in and, like, steal the joy, so I'd be like, "Oh, well, I'm not really good at this," and drop it, but I've been dabbling in that. Another thing that always was a thing for me was talking to people, but I'm not very social. It was this weird conflict of, like, not very social, but I like talking to people, and it was this conflict, and I realized it was more about I love talking to people about subjects that matter to me. I just hate small talk, right? And so that makes it really hard to make friends, so I just thought I just didn't like people, and I just very antisocial. I'm very social with the right people is what it was. So I started this podcast. One to share like my journey, right? Because I do believe that it can help someone else. But also because it was a challenge. I wasn't very social. I didn't really do well in front of a camera. And like finding myself has been really a passion of mine right now because it's just such a big daunting task. And as lost as I felt, I wish I would have had more actionable steps, which is why we're doing this list. So tap into your joy, figure out what really sparks happiness in you, and look back at your childhood and like the ways that you used to bring yourself joy because it might not be that one thing that you used to do as a kid, but exploring those areas could give you insight on what really brings you joy as an adult now. So then, after joy, you can start trying to assess what you have in your life currently and what you do in your daily life that brings you joy and which ones drain you. The best way to do this is make a list, right? What drains me and what brings me joy or like makes me happy or sparks energy in me. And you assess those things in your daily life so that you start like kind of getting an idea of what you like and what you don't like. Like for me, doing anything creatively always sparks joy and like this feeling of being proud of myself. And endless scrolling on social media drains me. I always feel like my life's not good enough. I could be better as a creative. I don't know how to draw. Like if I scroll too much on Instagram or anything like that, the comparison makes me feel drained. So that kind of things you have to like analyze in your life so that you have more of the joy stuff or things that spark joy in you and less of the stuff that drains you. The third actionable stuff that you can do to start finding who you really are is experimenting and pivoting. Now, I've heard this a lot with business podcasts that I've listened to. Fail fast is like the best thing to do. So like, don't go into something like fully in, like taking a master pottery class. Just take a pottery class just for fun. See how it goes. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Oh, this was not enjoyable. Pivot. Go try something else, you know? Or wow, this was good. Let me try something else about pottery to see if I like it. New glaze, whatever it is. And you try this and then you start building on that. It's better that you tried it quickly and got it out of your list if it's not what you want, or that you tried it and you're like, okay, this is something I want to invest in, then you sit around and just think about things. Because another big tip I've always heard is doing the thing is doing the thing. Anything else outside doing the thing that you want to do is not doing the thing. Thinking about it, planning on it, uh, writing it down, looking up videos on it is not doing the thing. Doing the thing is doing the thing. So if in this like third tip is experimenting and pivoting, experiment, try this. Didn't work, pivot. Uh, did work, try a little bit more or try something different. It's the just allowing yourself to try things without the pressure and with the intention of if I fail at this or this is not for me, then I have a way out or I can just pivot to something else. So in closing, just keep this in mind. Getting to know yourself is a lifelong journey because you're always evolving, right? And making sure that you know that as you progress and get to know yourself better, the more alive you're going to feel is like very encouraging, whether it's just a small step or a big step that you take towards getting to know yourself. These things are going to make you feel more alive because you're getting to know yourself better and better. Now, knowing that this is an ever evolving process gives you the courage that like you're never too late because it's going to keep happening throughout your life, and learning how to get to know yourself as life progresses, it's going to be something that you can use for the rest of your life. And then keep in mind also that no matter how small your step is, that small step is more than you not taking any steps towards getting to know yourself better and just finding out who you really are. Especially if you're going through this quarter life crisis, right? Doing one thing inching you closer to knowing who you truly are and living a full life is so much better than just not doing anything at all. So, like we do in every episode, I would like to leave you with a challenge. What if you could restart today? Think of 3 things that you want to explore or maybe try this month and try them. These can be something small, like signing up for a class or maybe reaching out to someone who inspires you to have a conversation. Or maybe you can just start journaling what your dream life would look like. Remember, you don't have to have it all figured out. Just take one step forward. Hey there, thank you so much for watching. If this episode spoke to you, or maybe you know someone that might benefit from watching this, share it or like and subscribe. If not, we also popped in some other episodes we thought you might like. Thanks for tuning in.